Welcome back to Sunday Live. Now, often on the show, we host politicians, we host very well-known entrepreneurs. We are moving a little bit to take a look at young people who are doing incredible things in interesting spaces. And we're very happy to host today Geotge Njoroge, who is the Group Managing Director and CEO of East African Data Handlers. Welcome to Sunday Live, George.
Thank you so much, Evie.
Just looking at your company, you established East African Data Handlers in 2008 and focusing on data handling and computer forensics as well. You're now preparing to list the company just a few years later. Let me start with the most basic of questions. What's the net worth of the company currently?
We're looking at between 100 and 300 million in net worth.
And that is being determined right now?
It's being worked on, yes. We have a team that is valuing the business for listing, and hopefully by the time we're listing in later in November or December, that will be a clear line.
What did you start the business with?
Well, we started off with simple 100,000 shillings. It was an idea that we started off. I lost my university project when I was in the university 4th year, and trying to recover it, I realized there's no business that offer data recovery services in this part of the world.
Right, so hold on. You're in university, you're in 4th year, and your project, the computer crashes?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
And I struggled so much to realize there is no data recovery company in the region. So that's how we started off. A local-made company, somebody has lost something, they've realized, let's make an opportunity out of this and make business out of it.
So presumably you were in your early 20s, mid-20s when this happened.
Yes.
And that's where the seed was planted.
Oh, yes.
A lot of people will be wondering, is this for real, 100,000 to talking hundreds of millions of shillings?
Well, it happens, yes.
How?
Well, for us, like for instance, we have been persistently doing the same thing. Always doing one thing we know, doing data recovery. And we have persistently sat on this particular market segment where we are doing nothing else other than data recovery services. And we are the only company that's doing data recovery services in this part of the world. When the Jomo Kenyatta airport burned down, we're the guys that came in and rescued the data that was lost. When there was a fire at Kimathi House, all the businesses had gone. We came in and tried to recover the data of those computers that got burned down. We went ahead and we've done a lot of things for many individuals that have lost data. Kenya Bureau of National Statistics burned down. We're the guys that went ahead and did the recovery for their data.
So what you're saying is you saw an opportunity. It was a niche area.
Oh, yes.
And you dove into it.
Yes.
We have a pattern of replicating what other people do. What would you say to people right now who are looking at others in business and copying them? And how do you identify a unique opportunity? What would you say to people?
I think the best thing we need to is pursue what we believe we can do best. And that is a big problem we have in this part of the world, where people are copying each other. You start selling Skuma Wiki, somebody starts doing the same. You start doing one thing everybody wants to copy. So the best thing I would advise anybody is take up what you can do in perfection. Like for us, we've taken data recovery. We have seen the opportunity that we can do. We have perfected that art. Recently we recovered data for somebody. The wife died. He had no other memorability of the wife other than the pictures they had taken their entire marriage. Right. And you'd imagine what happened when we recovered these pictures. And
so he lost everything on his
He lost all his
computer.
data. His wife just died. He has no pictures, he has no memorabilia, he has no videos, and he wants to come back and get that information. Where does he go? He turned to us, and the day that I gave him the pictures and he looked at them, he cried in my office, thinking, this is my wife, this is my livelihood. You've given me an opportunity to get what I had lost and gotten it back. So for us as data handlers, is doing what we can do best. For anybody who has an idea, do what you can do at the best you can do.
So, and even that story is moving. It's not just about the corporates and the big players. It's about a person who's lost their pictures. But those pictures mean the world.
Oh, yes.
Let's talk about the future. You're working in a very exciting space.
Yeah.
I think it's an incredible. You're often in uncharted territory, I would imagine. But that means it's exciting, but often practice is ahead of policy.
Oh, yes.
What advice would you give to government on how to move, what to do to ensure that policy is actually in place to deal with the challenges of the day?
Well, the first thing I should urge the government to do is enact policies that will govern the IT sectors. ICT policies that will ensure they will create opportunities for the IT industry. Even for the listing, we are listing in the GEMS category. The GEMS is a lower market, not in the main market, but it gives an opportunity for small businesses to come onto that market, the SME businesses. So the government should create opportunities where those businesses, more businesses can come in. They should get tax waivers. They can be able to come in as many as they can. Then ICT policies that can govern these kind of things, where protection of ideas that can be enhanced. This would really enhance the IT and the growth of this particular market, where people and more new entrepreneurs can be grown, new ideas can come in from this market, and we can do great things. Look at M-Pesa. It's from local ideas of people who can integrate solutions to what the problems they are having in their lives.
Let's talk to entrepreneurs, particularly small and medium-sized business owners right now.
Yes.
What do they need to do to be able to list as well? What advice would you give them to actually grow their companies?
Well, the first thing that for you to list in the GEMS category, you just need to have operated under 1 year. And that means that any business that is 1 year old and more can list. You don't have to have made profit. So it means that having not had made profit, you can list your business. And the biggest challenge that for us as a business we've had is raising capital that everybody else faces. How do you raise money? How do you raise capital? How do you get your brand known? How do you get people to know that you recover data?
How do you do that?
For instance,
everyone's sitting at home going, yes, that is the problem. So
like for us, we've invested heavily on advertising. Second thing is borrowed technology from out there. And the third thing, most important thing, is get skills. Our engineers are largely foreigners because there are no local skills available in this market. But for anybody who's trying to do things that you don't find skills, get as much knowledgeable as you can. Get the skills from wherever you can, so that will create you the opportunity you want to seize.
Let's go into next steps for the business. And particularly when you say there's a skills gap and you have foreign engineers, it's painful for us as Kenyans and Africans because we need jobs.
Oh, yes.
So how can we start to get the education sector to pay attention to the skills that are needed in our environments?
The biggest thing we need to do is mentorship. There's nothing as big in any sector, or in any economy, or in any people than people being trained, being mentored. The biggest challenge we have is that people want to get out of campus and they want to start having jobs. You want to be trained. You ought to be equipped to do things. For instance, we recently, 2 years ago, we started doing computer forensics. When we started doing forensics, there's nobody in this market that was doing it. And came the things that we have done. For instance, the massacre in Omada. Our team was involved in the forensics of that particular case. And we went out of our way to realize that this kind of technology or this kind of skills are needed in this market. There is nobody who is taken to court today and they're required to have digital evidence from mobile phone, from laptops, from iPads that is required that doesn't pass through our office because we're able to assist them do this kind of recovery. So we have invested in skills. Anybody that wants to do this kind of thing needs to invest in skills, need to empower themselves.
So, as I said, it's an exciting space. It's uncharted territory. It's getting harder and harder for people with evil intent to do things because the solutions are being found. But the danger is criminals are innovative. And they're constantly innovating. You've talked about forensics in this particular area, computer forensics. What do you see as the future?
The future is great. And what I've realized is that our every life is intertwined with data. We cannot live without data. All this data we are picking, this is TV, is data. All this data is stored. All this data is programmed, have to be processed. We need it to survive. We need emails, we need technology, we need all this. We need to communicate. So the future is in data. The future is in computing. The future is in what we are doing. So we are pushing on this space. There is a lot of fraud that is happening. Fraud is no longer now what you were seeing earlier with CCTV people selling sugar. Is going now digital. Out of the 48 banks in this country, about 90% of them are our clients because fraud is now no longer people going with guns into banks. They are going now digital. They're still using computers. So you find that technology is evolving every day. As long as we are depending on technology, things are evolving.
Is our criminal system evolving fast enough?
Oh yes, it is.
It is.
Oh, it
That's
is.
good news.
Yes, because you find that out of every other month, banks are losing close to about 100 million from internal theft, people fraudulently taking money, online theft. Cards have now been pin and chip because of theft. People are really going crazy trying to steal.
And this is your area, which tells me there's huge growth coming for your business.
Yes.
We come back to more. We're going to take a look at net search 5 to 1. We'd love your views on that. And we come back to more. And if you have questions for George Njoroge, you can ask them. My director is listening to the interview, and she asked, how old is he? I heard that. So before we go to net search, for all those people wondering, how old were you when you started the business in 2008?
26.
And so now you are 33.
33.
Okay, so let's go to net search. You can send in your thoughts via SMS or Twitter. Back to net search and looking at the top Google searches this week. At number 5, let's have a look. We have the Nursing Council of Kenya. Interesting one. Exam results were announced and this drove traffic to their website this week. Coming in now at number 4, let's have a look. And it's another phone. It's the Samsung Erica. This is a basic candy bar phone, that's what they call it, with a VGA camera, music player, and micro SD slot for memory as well. At number 3, a lot of people will be saying, who on earth is that? Well, her name is Amber Rose. She's an American model, actress, and a recording artist who announced her divorce from rapper Wiz Khalifa. The two have a 19-month-old son and have been married for 14 months. At number 2, yes, of course, it had to be football. It's the Premier League, of course it is. And various searches dominated this week, from Chelsea to Man City, Frank Lampard's potential loan extension with Man City, plus Arsenal versus Southampton, Chelsea versus Bolton, Arsenal versus Tottenham, and Chelsea versus Aston Villa, Liverpool versus Everton. Well, lots of people were searching lots of things on football. At number 1, let's have a look. And at number 1 is Google. So, Google turned 16 years old yesterday and commemorated it with a doodle. People went online to check out that doodle. Can you believe that 16 years ago Google did not exist? And today, what would we do without it? Fascinating stuff, that's net search. George, this point that 16 years ago there was no Google.
True.
Today, Google probably commands control of most of the information, a lot of the information in the world today.
Yes.
What lessons can people learn from a company like Google?
Well, it's the opportunity that comes from people doing what they can do best.
Again, it comes back to that.
Look at Facebook. Facebook is under 10 years old. It's as big as IBM, close to about 60, 70 years old. Why? It's because they have perfected the art of what they can do. Perfection makes us best at what we can do. So if we can be perfect, then we will do amazing things.
Let me ask you this, and somebody sends in an SMS saying, I like the story of that young guy. Thank you for bringing him into the studio. A lot of people commenting, great interview, says Mukaminjero, and people getting inspired. But I must ask this question. On our top 10 search, you see Amber Rose.
Yes.
Kenya is a country that has dedicated 30% of procurement to young
people,
to women, to the young youth, women, and those who are disabled.
Yeah.
Percentage uptake is 1%. Mm-hmm. Nobody's Googling about it, Kenyans. Nobody's searching. Please, as we close this interview, what are your words of advice to young people? If you want to succeed, what must you do?
Well, you must invest in yourself. The first thing that we must do as young people is that we must love this country. We must be able to be willing to do anything for this country. And we must invest in the very people that we have in this country. Because our skills and our future, and the future of this nation is dependent on us. We will not go out of this country. Like for us, as we are listing the business, we want to take Kenya on the global map by being the only data recovery company in Africa. And we want to push it to every country in Africa. We want to do that because we can say that Kenyans can also be as innovative, they can also be able to do things, they can also be able to be on the global platform and compete equally. So we can do that without having a problem. And because we are specialized in what we do, we can make as many young people as there can be to be specialized in what they can do.
So experts in that area,
oh yes,
in that field to grow them. So the message from George today really is do what you do and do it well.
Oh yes.
Be great at what you do.
The first thing that we learn is that you are a child from your parents. You cannot be a mother until you are a child. We must be willing to sit under people and learn and be mentored. Today you're a mother, but a few years ago you are a son, you're a child, you're a baby to your parents.
Thank you.
Yes.
What a powerful message. You start somewhere. You've got to be ready to start somewhere and walk the journey. We wish you all the best with the listing, and we'll certainly be keeping an eye on this company. Huge growth area. We're taking a break. Stay with Sunday Live.